Okay, first things first, relax, okay? I'm here. Sorry, it's fucking late at night. Hi, my loves. It's Justin Schwartz. You watching Schwartz TV. And I wanted to get on here and talk about Miss Nicki Minaj and the recent controversy she stirred. I thought about doing a dedicated video about this, and honestly, I really might have to because it's a layered conversation and topic. So, first things first, I'm gonna let everybody come in here and roll in here because there's a lot of things a lot of people aren't talking about. First of all, I have a lot of things to address because, again, I don't really talk about a lot of political things because I'm gonna be real with y'all. Can y'all like this video really quickly? Because every time I talk about political things, YouTube has always had a tendency of censoring and shadow banning my videos, and it really upsets me because sometimes I be going in. Sometimes I'll go in for like 2-3 hours just going in about a subject, and I can't even really go in like how I would want to because YouTube censors it. So I don't really have much time, but I'm gonna really go in about this for like a good hour. And I want to know what you guys honestly think after I sum a lot of this up. Again, hey, hello, mwah. Thank you for coming in. I'm gonna go right into it. Tell me when you guys are ready. Just tell me when you're ready. Just say ready when you're listening, and I have your complete undivided attention about what's going on in Nigeria. Is Nicki Minaj a fucking idiot? Is there something wrong with her? And a lot of y'all are wondering, I'm referring to Nicki Minaj's recent speech, where if you guys didn't know, she recently was invited by the UN, which is the United Nations, to do a speech about the Christians being slaughtered in Nigeria. So a shit ton of Christians are being slaughtered in Nigeria. Their churches have been burnt down. A lot of extremist Muslim groups have kidnapped them and taken them from their families, with straps and said, "We're taking your wife, we're taking your daughters, we're taking all 6 of the little girls that live in this house. We don't care," type of stuff. And a lot of times the media has framed it as Christians are under attack. But what's so crazy is, again, let me know when y'all are ready. Let me know when y'all are ready. Somebody said, "Girl, let's get into it." Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna be completely real with y'all. Let me just play a short snippet of Nicki Minaj's speech really quickly. So Nicki Minaj is completely out of the loop. She hasn't even done the full research about what the fuck she's talking about. And I really wish Nicki Minaj would shut her mouth and not speak about this kind of stuff. I'll be real with you. Nicki Minaj really could have just put out a tweet. She could have gone on a podcast. She could have sat on her big fat ass and just did a YouTube video. She could have went on Cream Radio talking about this stuff, and she could have had spark notes ready. But instead, she went on a political stage that leans more towards Republicans, which is fine. I don't give a fuck who voted for Trump. I don't care about none of these politicians to that degree. But you went on this stage and you weren't really fully aware of all of what was going on. So just to sum it up, again, I don't want to talk in circles. I want to like really get into it. Hold on, Nicki Minaj speech. I'm gonna play the speech really quickly for like 20 seconds, not much.
We're way beyond thinking or expecting or assuming for the person sitting next to you to have the exact same beliefs. We're beyond that. That's ridiculous. But that shouldn't make one person feel less safe than anyone in any room.
Why is Nicki Minaj speaking at now?
Hold on.
I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage and calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. And I want to be clear. Protecting Christians in Nigeria is not about taking sides. I would like to thank President. Thank you.
She was very specific about not taking sides, and you guys get the gist of it. She basically said, "I'm not taking any sides at all, and this isn't about me trying to crap on, Christianity or this, that. It's just about the fact that I want people who are Christian to be able to express themselves loudly and proudly and not be kidnapped from their households or not, have their wives snatched away and, harassed by extremist groups and pistol whip and shit like that." But again, like I said, I'm going to talk and I'm going to let you guys give your opinions afterwards, and I'm going to discuss some of y'all comments. Nicki Minaj is completely fucking delusional and could have just put all this on Twitter or Cream Radio. Nicki Minaj should have just shut her fucking mouth because she doesn't understand the bigger issue here. First of all, as someone that did a little bit more research, it's not only Christians that are being slaughtered. it's also Muslims as well. So the media is portraying it as it's a big group of Muslims, right, in Nigeria. So for those of y'all who are Nigerian, I'm pretty sure y'all know Nigeria is huge as fuck and it's not divided. So the north is up here and the south is over here. The north is full of Muslims, the Fulanis who wear the hijabs, everything. They practice Islam, they pray like 8 times a day. That's northern Nigeria. Then there's the South. The South are Christians, people who just are chill, regular. You would never really be able to tell unless they talk about their faith. There's a lot of churches in the South of Nigeria, and they're super conservative. Both parts are conservative, but they've been divided for centuries based off of who they think has the best religion. Sounds crazy, but that's just what it is. So essentially what happened is there's a crazy extremist touristic, I don't want to say the word, but touristic group called ISWAP, ISWAP, ISWAP. And essentially they've terrorized and they've destroyed tons of communities. I'm talking about they've walked in with torches and they've literally blown up and burnt down churches with people in them, churches with Christians in them. And they've also done this to mosques. Mosques are places of worship for Muslims. So they burnt down mosques and they burnt down churches. And the media is portraying them as, oh, they're Muslim. Are they really Muslim? Because as far as I know, I don't think Islam says anything about burning down churches and places of worship and kidnapping men's wives, kidnapping little girls as young as 12 and 13 years old off of school buses. I don't think that promotes anything involving Islam. So I don't understand why that the media is portraying it that way. It's not Muslims and it's not extremist Muslims. These people are thugs. They are legit thugs that literally hijack highways. They hijack churches. They even walk into those big farmers markets where Nigerians are selling eggs and fruits and watermelons, all types of stuff. And they run up in there and they come in guns blazing saying, we want all the women in here. We want this woman, that woman, and that woman. They find any woman that they like and they just grab them up. They literally will stand on highways. They'll point weapons at school buses and city buses and say, hey, we don't care if you have a shit ton of people in here. Stop this bus right now or we're killing everybody on here. The driver will stop and he'll literally take all the little girls. The little girls will literally have their normal schoolgirl clothes, their college shirt, their skirts, and he'll literally take them before they even get a chance to go to school or after they're leaving school or about to go to work. Take them. They'll be 12, 13, 14 years old, some as young as 11 years old. And they'll turn these little girls into servants because women are very valuable. I hate to say it, but like this, but that's just what it is. In a lot of countries that are corrupt, women are seen as treasures that can be exploited, and women can be turned into cooks because they believe these thugs are insane, but it goes deeper than this. But basically, they turn these women into servants, personal chefs, cooks, ex-slaves, right? So if these men are, off duty and want to get their rocks off, they'll exploit these little girls sexually. And they don't just do it to little girls, right? Some of these thugs are also doing it to little boys as well. Some of them will take little boys and exploit them sexually, turn them into wives as well. And then they'll also go as far as to do this. They'll also say, hey, you know what? Join us. We know you're a 9-year-old or 10-year-old boy, but let me teach you how to shoot a gun real quick. Let me show you how to like defend the village. These politicians, they're corrupt. They're bad people. They want to take our culture, they want to take Islam and they want to just destroy it. They only want to like help the rich. So let me teach you how to aim and shoot. And let me teach you so you can pass on the legacy as well. They want to grow their army even bigger. They want to create a massive army of young boys who basically grow up to have extremist beliefs that a lot of them are being pressured to, be poor for the rest of their lives. They're never going to have any money, never going to have anything, never can go to school, anything. So they brainwash them into thinking, okay, cool. Well, you know what? Since you'll never be rich, you might as well just join us and we'll teach you how to defend yourself and defend your family and nobody will ever touch you. You'll have power, you'll have money, you'll have influence, and you'll have all the women you want. And they brainwash these young boys into believing that. And it's not just the group ISWAP. It's also a bunch of other groups. There's another group called Haram. There's a bunch of other gangs that haven't been named, but it's like multiple different gangs, probably like less than 10 of them that have pretty much taken over the northern part of Nigeria, right? And a lot of these, and you guys can research this, right? You guys want to look at me and be like, oh my God, how do you know this stuff? You guys can just go deep on this and you guys can just, Google what I'm saying. And I'll do a dedicated video. So don't think I'm just like talking on my ass. I'll do a dedicated video eventually about this. I just have to talk about this real quick. So they brainwash young boys. They turn little ass girls into sex slaves. They don't give a fuck who you are, where you're from. They don't care if you have a wealthy family, and they kidnap them. And guess what? There's a lot of wealthy and a lot of money in Nigeria. So a lot of those Nigerian girls that get kidnapped, some of them are daughters of politicians, some of them are daughters of business owners, and sometimes they'll pay up most $20,000. They'll tell the whole family like, hey, let's put money together, 50K, 100K. Let's try to make sure we get these little girls back. We got to get our daughter back, and they're willing to do it to get their kid back. And a lot of times they do it on purpose. So if they're not turning these girls into servants or sex slaves, or turn them into turn these boys into being in their army, they'll hold them for ransom and say, okay, you want your little girl back? Give us $85,000. $85,000 is a lot of money to us from the West, but that's like an insane amount of money to like Nigerians. So imagine telling a Nigerian who probably makes like what, maybe like $1,000, maybe $700 every 3 months, right? You need to give me 85K. Okay, well, you don't have 85K. Okay, I guess you're not getting your kid back. I guess it is what it is. I guess I'm going to turn her into my wife. So they'll sometimes trade these girls in things such as human trafficking. And that's a big thing, a part of it too, right? The media isn't always talking about this, right? People are so stuck on the fact of like, oh, Christians are being slaughtered. That sucks. No. These gangs and these thugs that have like weapons and are tough that you would see in movies and stuff, they are thugs. They kill everybody. They're like Muslims, Christians, anyone that goes against them. Like, if in fact, actually, more Muslims have been pretty much harassed, slaughtered, and had their properties and their livelihoods destroyed because of these thugs that have pretty much taken over the northern part of Nigeria, because the northern part is where most of the Muslims are. So hear me out here, right? So ransom, human trafficking, and then they trade these young girls to all types of countries in the West. They trade these young girls in a lot of underground areas. They trade these girls across the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these West African girls will get thrown in the Middle East and say, okay, cool, we'll sell you this 12-year-old girl who's a virgin, and we'll sell you her for about 15,000. You can turn her into your wife. And a lot of these Middle Eastern crazy corrupt leaders and a lot of these crazy corrupt people who have money and want a wife in these West African countries, a wife that's young and a wife that can bear their children and then give them like 20 kids, and a wife that's 12 or 11 years old. A lot of them will pay for that. They'll pay that if they feel like it'll be valuable to them, because in those parts of the world, organized marriage is still a very common thing where the woman don't have no choice. If the family or her owner ships her off, then it is what it is. And slavery is still very real and active in places like Nigeria. Now, luckily, the big cities like Lagos and Abuja, yeah, they're affected, but they're not that affected because a lot of the wealthy politicians and the big businesses and the Chinese-owned businesses, they're not having that shit. Like, you come anywhere near their areas, they're going to kill you on sight. It's happening more in like the inner areas, the areas where it's not fully developed, areas where they have like small markets and they don't really have much. It's happening in the areas where they don't have much policing around to protect them. It's happening in areas where the community has to rely on each other to protect one another. It's happening in areas where if they call the police are 5-6 hours away. They can't pull up instantly. So it's like, okay, cool. The police can't pull up. Y'all are 5-6 hours away. Well, we might as well take over this village. And by the time you guys get here, over 2,000 of us are all over the mountains. We're all over the bushes. Don't come near her. You police come near her, we're going to off y'all too. And guess what? If you bring more police, we'll just give you guys X amount of money. So sometimes some police are in on it as well. They'll play dumb and play cool, but sometimes these thugs can give them money and say, hey, just go away here, go away. Or, hey, here, make your men go away. Here's a couple $1,000, just go away. And stuff like that can be allowed. So a lot of it involves with human trafficking. A lot of it is involved with fighting over land and resources. So sometimes a lot of these thugs like ISWAP, which is the biggest one, ISWAP, Google them. They're literally an offspring of ISIS, right? Y'all remember? Oh, I don't even want to say that word because I don't want YouTube coming for my shit. But they're basically an offspring of ISIS. I'm gonna say ISIS. ISIS. They're an offspring of ISIS, which basically is an extremist group that has taken over parts of Iraq, Syria, and many other places. Oh my God, I really hope this video gets fucking flat. Please thumbs up this video if you're engaged into this, right? So ISWAP and Haram and a bunch of other, militant gangs who claim that they're Muslim but really aren't. They just hide behind being Muslim so they can get entire tribes and communities to be on their side. They use Muslim and Islam as a mask, and they're human trafficking little girls. And these And guess what? They're brainwashing communities into assimilating. And then sometimes they'll do horrific things such as sexually assault young girls in front of everybody or young boys in front of everybody as a way to invoke fear into people. And a lot of times these dudes who have these weapons and are trying to like intimidate villages that don't have much police, that don't have much community, that don't have much, protection or have much access to cell phones or telephones to get in contact with the outside world or film things. Oh, thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry, I didn't see your super chat, but thank you for super chat. A lot of these tribes don't have that much access to a lot of these outside resource. They can't record stuff and be like, oh my God, they can't run because then they're gonna get snatched up because these fucking dudes, they move like politicians. They have jeeps, they have cars, they have weapons, they have access to territories, they manage this point, that point, that point. You try to run, it's too late. You might as well join us. If you don't want to join us, we'll just off you. Oh, you want to shun us because you think you're a better Muslim than we are? Boom, okay, boom, shoot, boom, click clack boom, okay, that's it. So you guys just saw what happened to so and so. Since she want to act like she's above us, y'all got to either join us or end up just like her, who we just offed right in front of you guys. And then people start to be scared, and then that's when they join them, and then they start to get brainwashed, and they start to have that Stockholm syndrome, and then they assume, okay, well, maybe they're on our side because they're also Muslim as well. It's just a complicated situation. So that's why I'm bringing up how Nicki Minaj really should have just shut her fucking trap, because she didn't really do much research about what's really going on. Both religious groups are being offed and snatched up and kidnapped and harmed and offed. It's not just Christians. So yes, unfortunately, rest in peace to those Christians that got burnt alive in churches. Rest in peace to those Christians that got snatched up, and some of these Christian men got their wives snatched or their little daughters snatched up. I'm sorry that happened to them, but it's so much more layered than just Christians are being slaughtered and off. It's more layered than y'all think. On top of that, a lot of it also has a lot to do with drug trafficking as well. Like a common thing that a lot of these dudes who walk around with these fucking pistols, who think that they're tough and that are terrorizing villages and terrorizing communities, a lot of them are doing substances. They're, trafficking substances. They're selling substances. They're using the community to sell substances. Some of them are using a common thing such as, for example, like, they're using things like codeine, which is like cough syrup. They're using things such as they're trafficking things such as marijuana and a bunch of things, and using some of the people to like sell it in like the bigger cities. And a common thing that they're also using is they're using meth to like put in their body, or they ingest it in other people as a way of like initiation. So basically, like if they get one of the young boys or a group of young boys who they just completely like fucking terrorize and force them to join them, they'll give them things like drugs and substances to numb them from the pain. And a common thing that they're using, oh my God, please listen to this and please research this as well. Monkey tail. Have y'all ever heard of monkey tail? So monkey tail is a very popular substance that gets used by a lot of these militant thugs, these gangs that are running up these villages and are offing Christians and Muslims who don't align with their beliefs. Monkey tail is basically infused marijuana, right? Like infused marijuana, right? Drenched out, strained, mixed in with, for those y'all who are weed smokers, y'all know, like ingesting the liquid or the oil of marijuana, all that stuff, like that could be tough. Crazy work, right? They're infusing marijuana and they're infusing gin. I forgot what it's called in Nigeria, but there's a gin. It's like an alcohol. So they're infusing marijuana with gin, and then they're infusing it with tree bark, and they're basically making like their own version of like a jungle cocktail. Like if y'all ever had moonshine, it's kind of like that. If you ever had like herbal or like tree bark alcohol, it's kind of like that. They're drinking monkey tail. Monkey tail is like this big jungle cocktail. So imagine somebody mixing hard liquor with infused marijuana. And y'all have had infused or tree bark liquor before. If you haven't, try it. Trust me, I promise you, it'll put you on your ass if you drink too much. But you're drinking this jungle cocktail concoction, and it basically numbs you, and it gives you like this crazy high. Because one, you already got, you already got trees in your system, and you already got hella gin in your system, and you got like infused and fermented liquor in your system, and it numbs you. It gives you like a high to where it numbs the pain. It numbs you. It can also cause you to hallucinate as well. So basically, if somebody gives you too much or you drink too much, especially if you're a young boy that's being indoctrinated and brainwashed to have extremist beliefs and believe that the wealthy are against you and politicians are against you and everybody on that side of the world is against you. And those people who claim that they're Christians and those people that claim that they're Muslims, they think that they're better than us. So, drink some of this. Hey, drink some of this. Hey, while you're on duty, drink some of this. Or hey, off all them people. Oh, you don't have the confidence to do it? Okay, drink some of this. It's just demonic and it's evil. So they're drinking things such as monkey tail, they're doing things like meth, they're drinking things such as codeine. And a lot of these men are like in their 20s, some of them are teenagers, and they're completely terrorizing villages and communities. And they're doing this to people on city buses, school buses. They're grabbing people up in churches. People who are normal working class, people working in fucking supermarkets are getting snatched up, pulled by their arms, thrown in fucking trucks. And that's what the fuck is happening. And they don't give a fuck who's Christian. They give a fuck about who's going to be on their side. You speak out against them, you say something to them, you're getting off. Muslims don't make up majority of the world. Christians make up majority of the world. So the reason why it's so amplified like this, and for those of you who just came in, watch the playback. I had a lot to say, and I'll revisit some of these things in a little bit. It's not just Christians and Muslims. So again, like I was saying earlier, Nicki Minaj really should have shut her trap because she didn't really do much of the research. She did a 5 to 8 minute speech and didn't even really go deep into what the fuck is actually happening. So again, people probably asking like, why don't you talk about these in video? When you actually watch, when you watch it, it seems like people only care when I'm talking about things involving pop culture and TikTok news and celebrities and shit. You know what I mean? Will you actually watch, or like will YouTube allow it? I mean, I can put it on my podcast, sure, but anyways, straight to the point. What was I saying again? As I was stating, yeah. So a lot of the extremist groups don't give a fuck if you're Muslim and Christian. Christians make a majority of the world. Christianity is the biggest, most widespread religion in the entire world, and then a little bit after is Islam. Muslims make up after that, and then after Muslims, I think it's Hindus, and I think it's Buddhist, or no. Anyways, but Christians make up majority. Christians and Muslims make up the majority. So that's why it's so popular for the media to sensationalize it and say, oh my God, Nigeria's killing Christians. And people are just reading that shit, especially a lot of the barbs. And they're just like, oh my God, Nigeria's killing Christians. It ain't safe for Christians. It ain't safe for nobody out there, bitch. You better not go anywhere near there. I mean, you can go to the big cities in Nigeria, but don't go anywhere near. It's not safe for anybody. They're often anyone that that speaks out against them. And again, they're moving like politicians. They're not just people that look all grungy and dirty and wearing loincloths and know how to, shoot a pistol. They're like suit and ties, normal clothes, cologne, dressed up. You would think that it's the mafia. You would think you're watching Scarface. You would think that you're watching, Power. That's how they move. You would think that they're an organized group or like politicians, but they're not. They're just literal thugs that intimidate villages and groups. And sometimes it's more than just they just want to off and make people miserable. It's about a fight over resources. So their belief system is they just hate politicians. They think politicians are shitty. They don't think politicians should run the country. They think since politicians can't have their eyes everywhere, so the police can't be everywhere, they think that they're entitled to run shit and take over what they want, and they eventually get what they want. Nigeria has a lot of rich resources. A lot of resources in Nigeria are used to create computers, iPhones, technology. Nigeria is also very rich in oil, so the UK benefits from Nigeria a lot. France benefits from Nigeria. Dubai benefits from Nigeria, and the United States benefits from Nigeria, and so do other neighboring countries like Niger and a bunch of other countries. They benefit from Nigeria's oil. So because they benefit from the oil and the natural resources and the metals and shit like that, they're used to create computers and used to create the phones that some of y'all are using and the shit that's inside. You know what I mean? Nigeria is the Nike of Africa. So in their head, they feel like, well, politicians suck. We're fucking poor. We're going to take over this particular side of the country, and no one's going to fucking stop us because we have guns, and who the fuck cares? So we're going to do what we want. And a lot of them are an offspring of ISIS. I'm not going to say the word ISIS. They're an offspring of those particular evil groups that, came about in the Middle East. So they have only one thing on their mind: take what they want, build their fucking military, build their armor, and shit on these politicians. And some of them are in cahoots with these politicians. You know what I mean? Some of them are being paid off by politicians, but hey, that's another video. So a lot of them are just evil, dangerous groups. And what's even scarier is this has been going on for like over 10 years. This has been happening since like fucking Obama. This has been happening since before Obama. This has been happening for over 15 years. So it's kind of like this isn't really going to go away. So the reason they do this is because a lot of them want things such as cattle. You know what I mean? Like beef is a big industry. A lot of beef grows in Nigeria. So they want beef, goats, farmland. Let's see, crops such as tomatoes, crops such as, let's see, corn, big crops that make the economy huge, sugar plantations, shit like that. They want access. So in their head, they're like, why should the politicians have access when they're far away and they're just telling people what to do and they get to just tell the farmers do this and we're going to raise taxes on that? Why don't we take control and we run shit and we run stuff in our country? So that's just me giving the bigger gist of it. So for those of people who are just listening to Nicki Minaj's speech and are just like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful, but it's fucking surface level. And she's very delusional and doesn't even know the half of what the fuck is going on. I just gave you a little bit more of a glimpse of stuff, and I hope people watching the playback leave a like on this video and send this to Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj actually has me blocked on Instagram. My bad, Nicki. I'm still not really sure why she blocked me. It's a long story, in my opinion, but I don't really want to go into that. But if anyone can, send this to Nicki and let her know that she is completely out of the loop, completely unaware, and she should have just sat there and ate her fucking food because she doesn't know the half of these dangerous militant extremist groups that want cattle, that want gold, that want land, that want the tomato crops, that want the corn crops, and that want to kidnap and human traffic little girls and use them for servants. And like it's so much deeper than just, oh, they're just slaughtering them because they just don't believe in their ideology. No, they're slaughtering them because they're speaking out against them. So are the Muslims. It's deeper than that. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's what it is. That's why all of a sudden the world's paying attention to Nigeria. It's crazy because this isn't just happening in Nigeria, it's happening in other countries as well. But that's another video that I can talk about for another day. But yeah, she's not fully in the loop of shit. And again, I'll talk about this in an actual dedicated video and unpopular opinions, and I'll have more opinions later on. So yeah, if anyone watching this knows Nicki Minaj personally, tell them on if you can, send us to Nicki Minaj and tell her to please shut her fucking trap and do a little bit more research. And next time, maybe go on a podcast. Maybe next time, go on a radio show. Maybe next time, go on her Korean radio platform. Maybe next time, just shut her trap and maybe just go on a podcast and talk about it there instead of going on a public political Republican platform where she's clearly just being used to generate viewership. Yeah, she did bring more attention to it, but she didn't really use it as an opportunity to talk about the deeper shit. Like she brought attention to Christians being slaughtered, but it's like that's only like 1.5% of what's going on. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good gist of it, and I hope everyone that's just coming in will watch the playback and understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's answer some of y'all questions. Let's address it, and let's see what's going on. Let's see what some of y'all have to say. Because again, I don't have much time, and I literally have a bus to catch in literally like in the next 50 minutes. So yeah, I'm currently in Brazil. If y'all didn't know, since I'm in Brazil, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the next big Brazilian city. I gotta get the fuck out of Salvador and go to the next city. So y'all don't have me for long. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the love. Thanks for everyone that's liking the video. If you're in here, you really should be liking the video because it's a bunch y'all in here. So I appreciate y'all. Kisses. Please like the video and let's read some of y'all questions. Exactly. It's not. It's not. Some of them are, someone said that's not Islam. It's not. They're using Islam as a mask. Those extremist groups that are literally being used as being called Islam extremists. They're that's not Islam. It's not Muslim. Like being Muslim and Islam, like I'm not religious at all, right? It's about being, peace, community. Like, yeah, there are some judgmental beliefs. Yeah, there are some beliefs people can interpret as, policing women and, treating women like they're supposed to be a certain way. And yeah, like it's anti-LGBT and yeah, you can't get abortion and this, that. Like, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of things about Islam that a lot of us don't agree with if you're real liberal and from the West. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. But a lot of their beliefs are not Islam. They're offing and chopping off people's limbs, bro. They're literally going in churches and mosques where even Muslims, right? They're even attacking other Muslims. They're literally blow torching and burning down and burning people alive in mosques because those people don't like them at all. They actually hate them and speak out against them all the time and tell them, get the fuck out of our country. Y'all are pieces of shit. Y'all do not represent us at all. Y'all are making us look bad. And guess what? Oh, y'all, you're making us look bad. You guys think you're better than us because you're those type of Muslims? Okay, let's get a blowtorch and blow this whole thing up and burn everybody up alive in here. Let's burn this whole mosque down. Sacred homes of worship being burnt down to smithereens that have been up and built for years, for decades, burnt down. You know, mosque, have y'all been inside of a mosque? Usually they're really beautiful and well put together. Burnt to a crisp because these thugs and these gangs want cattle, they want the tomato crops, they want these metals, they want these materials that grow in the ground that create bones that they can sell to European they can sell to Europeans on the side who want to make a little side business. They want to flip it for a better profit. They want to sell it to tech company. They want to do things such as, you know, sell these crops, and they would, like, you know what I mean? And it affects a lot of us because, again, people sometimes will say, well, why should us from the West or America care? But a lot of us are relying on Nigeria and Cameroon, a lot of these countries that have massive oil reserves, because when these thugs take over, who's to say they won't spread across the entire? I mean, they won't spread around to the big cities. I don't think that will ever happen. There's too many militaries, too much police protecting people for that to happen. But they can shut down seaports. If they shut down seaports, then that slows down trade, and that affects the U.S. and that affects other countries and so much more. So, or who knows? Maybe there's other, you know, outsiders, because you got to know there's hella fucking Chinese in Nigeria right now, and the China. You know, let me not say too much about. You know what? Should I? Okay, I'm not gonna talk about. I still want to go to Shanghai. I still want to go there. I'm not. Let me not talk about China. I don't. Let me not say anything about China. I actually plan on going there to buy some clothes and some knockoffs and some. Ooh, listen. I still need my 85 cent designer clothes and no, I'm not gonna say anything about China yet. Let me go first, and then eventually I'll talk about it. I don't want to go too deep. Anyway, let me see. Someone said, "Love her to pieces." I can't defend that though, just not too much. She still got a good heart. She just should have shut it on this subject. Just breeze her, please. Yeah, basically give Nicki some grace. I see what you're saying, but she probably should have just really kept her mouth shut. Anyone that knows Nicki personally, please forward this to her, screen record this, and just let her know, Nicki, you should have shut your trap because you don't understand the full validity of the situation and what's actually going on. It's not just, if anything, more Muslims are being harmed than Christians, because more Muslims are in the north, and that's where a lot of that chaos is happening, in the north. Anyways, let me see. And people die every day in the U.S. Is she speaking on them? Yeah, okay. That's a good point. I mean, Nicki Minaj also isn't really full-blown American. She's from Trinidad. I mean, she's both. She's American Trini, but let's be real. I don't know. Like, again, people keep saying, what does Nicki Minaj care so much about what's happening in Nigeria for? Honestly, that's a really good question. I mean, she says she's spreading awareness, but if you're going to spread awareness and be a humanitarian, why don't you talk about all sorts of things? I mean, to be honest with you, you're Nicki Minaj. You're a female rapper. I wouldn't expect her to even care about these kind of things. In her speech, she even said, well, you know, I've always been big on standing up for those who want to express themselves since the beginning of my career. Yeah, women who want to pop their poom poom on the street, and people who want to be flamboyant, people that want to live their life fearlessly. As far as like religion, I never saw or expected Nicki Minaj touching those territories. I'm just being honest. So again, I'm not going to be on here very long because I do got to catch a bus in the next 50 minutes. I'll be on here for a good minute. I'll be on here for a good while, like a good 20, 30 minutes. But I really wanted to get on here. And I think this will be a really good live stream because I really did go in on the subject. And again, this will be a dedicated video. So don't think I'm just like rambling on and I have more to say, but I just can't really sum it up in a whole live stream because I still want more people to be able to hear me, because I feel like Nicki Minaj did kind of open up the floodgates for me to have this conversation, because I just usually don't talk about this kind of stuff. I keep tabs on it, but I just don't really talk about this kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. Let me see. People keep saying, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about Nicki? Watch the playback. She was literally praising Trump on Twitter. She was giving Trump his flowers and saying, thank you for standing up for Christians in Nigeria. I'm sure that's probably how she even found out about Christians in Nigeria. But to be honest with you, I feel like Nicki Minaj is just a perfect example of what our generation is, where we kind of just look at headlines and we look at shit that's happening on certain media platforms. Like if you watch a lot of Fox News, you're gonna see this kind of stuff, but they won't really go into depth about it because it just doesn't really do much for them to go into depth. The world just doesn't really care that much because again, no one really cares when Muslims are affected because the world is still processing some of the things we see on TV and the media, news, terrorist attacks, and much more. And a lot of them usually come from predominantly Muslim countries. Oh, and also Nigeria is not fully Muslim. Nigeria is like 50-50. It's like half Muslim, half Christian. So of course, since the world is mostly Christian, or since the world is mostly Christian, the media is mostly run by Christians, about the negative things Muslims are going through, especially because, I mean, let's be real, the Jewish community hasn't really had the best reputation with a lot of Muslims and people in the Middle East and people who, have certain beliefs that align with Islam. Somebody said, Nurse, Nicki Minaj is out again. Y'all are crazy. What the hell? My mouse is fucking jammed. I'm trying to fucking click. Let me see. Pardon me. What the hell? I'm sorry. I'm trying to put shit on the screen. I can't put shit on the screen. What the fuck is going on? Okay, sorry, my bad. I'm back. Don't mind me. I'm back. Okay, can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me and see me. I'm back. I just had to fix some shit. Somebody said, why are people mad she thanked Trump? Didn't everyone thank Trump when he was putting out stimulus checks? Oh, okay. Honestly, I don't have a problem with her thanking Trump. It's just, again, I just wish she was a little more informed before she used that platform. Somebody said, boy, go catch your bus. My bus leaves in 50 minutes, okay? I don't leave the house until 5 minutes before the bus takes off. And then I'm eventually run with my luggage and everything at the bus station. Somebody said, this is a great point. Let me say, literally benefits off of neocolonialism and imperial capitalism when traveling to other countries, but wants to be the woke police. Choice GPT. Oh my God. Wait. I'm sorry. You're talking about me? Wait. Literally benefits off of neo-colonialism and imperial capitalism when traveling to other countries, but wants to be the woke choice GPT. You're talking about the fact that I benefit off of neo-colonialism. You mean like when I go to other countries and my money is really, really strong? Bitch, if you don't have a passport, just say that. If you can't travel the world because you don't have a passport and are scared to get one and see what the world actually looks like, just say that. Everyone get a passport. I promise you, it's the best invention ever, and it will literally open your mind. Anyways, someone says she has a big Nigerian fan base. Nicki Minaj does have a big Nigerian fan base, so it makes sense why people are probably tagging her in it. But again, I feel like if she was really tagged by true Nigerians that wanted awareness to be spread, they would have probably filtered in deeper on it, and she would have probably spoken on more things about it. Like she really just spoke about the Christian thing, like stop harming Christians. I want to spread awareness for Christians. What about the little girls that are human trafficked and are turned into servants and are kidnapped? I mean, she talked about the kidnapped people, but only in the sense of them being Christian. You know what I mean? Like she should have sat that one out. And again, I'll do another video, but again, please just like the live. If I can get 1,000 likes on this live. Matter of fact, how about this? If I can get 3,000 likes, I'll definitely do a breakdown video. If I get 1,000 likes before I get off of here, I'm still okay with that. But overall, I just want to get at least 3,000 likes, and I'm cool with that. But let me just read some of y'all comments real quick, because again, y'all had a lot to say about some things I said. Again, for those who just jumped in, because again, I said a lot of shit. Watch the playback. Everyone else keeps saying, what happened? I'm not going to be on here for long, but you can watch the playback. I went straight to the point. So yeah, Nicki Minaj should have just kept quiet. Someone said Nicki Minaj is doing Trump's bidding. She doesn't care about Americans losing jobs, healthcare, homelessness, and Trump disrespecting Black generals and erasing African American history. Yikes. Yeah, you don't really hear Nicki Minaj talk about those kind of things. Because again, I see what you mean. People are basically saying that if you're going to care about politics, you should care about it all. I mean, I get it. She talks about things that pertain and affect her because in her head, since she's a Christian, she's gonna speak on what's happening with Christians. But if you're also an American and you're also shouting out your Nigerian bars and shit like that, maybe also talk about the shit that a lot of Americans are going through as well. If you're gonna be all in politically, I expect to also see her political voice, her politically voice her opinion about other shit as well. I'm just being honest. Let me see. Somebody literally DM me on Instagram. Oh, hey Jennifer Dibbs. I wonder if she's in here. She was like, "I'm waiting for you." I get. Also, I apologize for being late. I just had a stomach ache, and then I also had to like shower a little bit, and I was also packing, so I was getting ready for like my bus that I am gonna catch. So I was packing. I'm all packed. Literally, once I get off of here, I'm just gonna immediately call my Uber and go straight to that bus station and go to this beach town in Brazil. So right now I'm in Salvador, which is the big Afro-Brazilian city. This is where most of the slaves were thrown in Brazil. So almost like majority of what you see here are black and they're Brazilian. And they look at me crazy as hell when I say I don't speak Portuguese. Desculpa. So yeah, I'm in the Afro-Brazilian hub of the world, the Afro Black diaspora hub of the world, and it's amazing here. The food is good and people are really nice. But I want to go to another city that's more affordable, so I'm taking a 10-hour bus. So I'm really about to get on a bus that's gonna leave, in about right now. In here, it's 2:47 a.m. The bus literally gets here at around 3:30. So yeah, but since there's traffic and since I'm also in South America and it's an easternized country, buses usually come about 10 to 15 minutes late. So technically, I got about like 55 minutes instead of like 30 minutes. But yeah, I think I'm good. So again, watch the playback. I already said that earlier. Yeah, she should have done her research before listening to the range line president. Let me see. Let me keep reading. I'm sorry. Is there a Nigerian in here? I'm sorry. I could have sworn something. Let me see. Why not? Someone said, why not thank Nicki Minaj for using her platform? Okay, yeah. Thank you, Nicki Minaj, for using your platform just to do a little bit more research so you're fully informed. She literally just gave out the surface level shit. Like she wasn't fully informed. Like it's okay to give a speech, that's cool. But it's like, Nicki, you don't know the half of it. Like you don't even know 30% or even 20% of it. She literally just gave out 1.5% of what the fuck is going on. And she also wasn't completely aware. Like she's literally eating off of what the UN and what a lot of American groups who are hyper religious are saying. They're not just offing Christians because they're fucking Christian. They're offing people because they're fucking monsters, and they're offing people who are against them and don't want to join their thug gang ass group that's stealing farmland, stealing cattle, stealing little girls, stealing little boys, recruiting little boys, making them drink things like monkey tail, which I explained monkey tail earlier. Again, do your research on monkey tail, right? Monkey tail is a very popular and illegal, by the way, right? It's kind of like moonshine, right? Like you're not gonna easily just buy moonshine in a lot of stores in America. It's more intense. So it's infused marijuana, like squeezed infused marijuana that's fermented with tree bark to make alcohol, and then they mix it with like local Nigerian gin that's very popular, super strong. You drink too much of it, you're hallucinating. You drink too much of it, you're numb. You have a high. So you immediately want to assassinate. You're like hyper, like it does a lot to your system. And imagine giving that to like a 13, 14-year-old, hand him a gun and tell him like, hey, drink some of this, drink that. And hey, silence all these crying women right now, okay? If anybody move or act crazy, you shoot them. And a 14, 15-year-old's gonna be like, okay, yeah, whatever. And just drink down that, what is it, monkey tail? And do that. So there's a lot of like really scary things happening, and it's deeper. Like it's not just that; it's a lot of shit. So yeah, thanks Nicki Minaj for using your platform, and also Nicki Minaj, if you're watching this, and if Barb's watching this, also please thank Nicki Minaj for maybe doing her research if she decides to do it, and also thank her for not knowing the fucking bulk of the actual issue, what the fuck is going on. So yeah, I mean, at least she spoke up. I mean, most of our faves would never say anything about it. But if you're not fully informed, then maybe you really shouldn't even give a opinion on a platform like that. It's one thing to go on a podcast, but you're giving your opinion on a fucking political platform and a political stage, and you're doing this, and you're also publicly thanking Trump, baby girl, you are on the wrong trail. And it's not even just about Trump. This is above Trump. This has been happening before Trump. I can give two fucks about Trump. I don't fucking care who voted for Trump. I don't fucking care about him. I don't care. It's above him. This has been happening years before him. Someone said, catch your bus at this point. I really need to. So basically, yeah, it's 2:51 and my bus leaves at around 3:25, but the bus always comes about 10 to 15 minutes late because of traffic and bad roads and infrastructure. Because I'm in Brazil. Let me see. Someone said, yeah, she's an immigrant, and I think for immigrants. Somebody says nobody cares when it's Christians. Nobody also cares when it's Muslims either. Someone said you have to stand on what you believe at the end of the day. If that's her choice, then we can't stop her. Okay, I think that's fair. If Nicki Minaj decided she wants to just stand up for the fact that they were Christians, I completely get it. If she didn't care about the other Muslims and the other people, no, I get it. But again, I hope everyone watching this decides to watch the playback. If you just came in, let me see. Someone said Nicki Minaj been a rep. Get over it. He's the president. If she said thank you, Obama, y'all would say shit. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. Let me see. Nikki may have Nigerian in her because of slavery. So remember that. I mean, if you're a part of the Black diaspora, you probably do have Nigerian ancestry. Trace, hey Aisha, can you wish me luck at the end of my semester? Aisha, I wish you luck. Good luck with your semester. Hope you knock them dead. It's gonna be the best next chapter of your life, and you're gonna make a lot of money and a lot of opportunities. You gotta claim that energy because if you don't, you won't get what you want. But Aisha, I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll get it. You'll get what you want. Do you think Nigeria will split one day because of religion? I doubt it. Nigeria has over 200 million people, and Nigerians are proud of being Nigerian. So it's kind of difficult for them to just say we're going to split Nigeria. I mean, it's so damn big, and it's just why split it? It's so big, different tribes, different languages. Nigeria has like so many languages, like over 10 languages, different tribes, different groups. Nigeria is massively diverse. There's a lot of like white Nigerians, a lot of Asian Nigerians, a lot of Lebanese Nigerians. It's just like Nigerians are proud to be Nigerian. Yes, it has nothing to do with Trump. It's above Trump. Someone said, Choice, Nikki just wants her husband pardoned. Girl, bye. Yikes. Why does she only have to speak on American issues when she's not American? Interesting point. Not really. Let's protect Christians, though. Let me see. What about the veto? He's wrong, too. The veto. That's the Afrobeats guy. I don't listen to his music. Nicki Minaj is being used by the Republican nationalists. However, there is certainly more to the story and accurate interpretations of the Quran that are to blame for it. Yeah, lots of people blame the Quran for a lot of shit. Lots of people do. Oh wait, my bad. My bus doesn't come at 3:25. My bus comes at 3:35 a.m. And right now it's 2:54. So yeah, it's 2:54 a.m. where I am. My bus comes at 3:35 a.m. And it usually leaves after like 10 to 15 minutes. But again, it doesn't arrive until like 10 to 15 minutes after because buses here are always late. Is your mouse dead? Let me see. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna catch up. Oh my god, not the barbs that fucking came in here. Choice, Nikki's alter ego Roman tried to cut your live stream. Probably. Okay, I'm caught up with comments now. I'm just gonna read some of these. Let me see. I'm sorry, I was just reading all the old comments. The topic was about Christians. Why would Nicki Minaj get up there and talk about other political things that weren't a part of the topic? That wouldn't have gone well for her either. Okay, I'm glad you came in to kind of get the idea. So the fact that you're listening, I appreciate that. Okay, I see what you mean. So you're basically saying that she was specifically only talking about the Christian issues, and maybe she knew about the other stuff, but she just purposely only chose to focus on Christians. Okay, that's a fair assessment that she wants to just focus on Christians because if she talked about the human trafficking, the little girls getting kidnapped, mind you, snatched off of school buses, right? I talked about this earlier. These gang members who are called Haram, who are called ESWAP, right? ESWAP. Look them up. They're an offspring of ISIS, right? And they're fucking hijacking highways and they're fucking snatching little girls out of cars, snatching children, as girls who are at least, if you're at least 12 years old, they're selling them into like human trafficking. They're turning them into wives. They're turning them into servants. It's terrible what the fuck is happening. And guess what? Some of those little girls will never be seen ever again. Some of those little girls will never make it home because they're also, if they don't want to use those little girls as sex slaves or servants, it's a situation where they're like, okay, cool. Well, we can't use them for what we want. If we can't use them for what we want, let's try to use them for ransom. Let's see if like anybody wealthy is associated with them. If you want them, pay us 80K, pay us 100K, pay us 45K, pay us 20K, and we'll give them back to you. Why not? Meanwhile, a lot of those thugs called in eSwap and a lot of those thugs in Haram, they had their way with these young girls, traumatized these young girls, beaten them horribly, done who knows what to these girls that are 12 years old. And the media would never talk about them and we'll never hear from them and we'll never know their names either, ever. Sucks to see, sucks to hear that kind of stuff. But yeah, I see what you mean. Love them down. Brazil. Okay, yeah, Brazil's awesome. I recommend everybody visit. It's not the safest, but it is awesome and very affordable. I was like, oh my God, what? I'm talking about like cocktails here are like $2 to $3. Sometimes you can get a cocktail for like $1.50 on the street. Baby, I was at the fucking bar. You know how much I paid for a fucking shot? A shot was like 96 cents. I paid 96 cents for a shot of fucking tequila. That's fucking crazy. And in America, it's like $15 for one shot. Let me see. I'm sorry, I didn't read your super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Chef Boyardee 3317. I gotta get off of here in a few minutes. Christians swear they're not protected, but they've always been. Yes, to some degree. Churches deny that mom formula while mosque satanic temples help. Exactly, and she ignores Muslim kids suffering. That is so true. So basically, for those of y'all, to give y'all some context, this commenter is referring to a TikTok girl that called like 20 churches, right? She called 20 churches and like 10 mosques. And basically all the mosques said, yeah, sure, why not? We'll give your baby some formula. You want some formula? And all the churches said, oh, no, we don't do that. Oh, we don't do that. We don't do that. But all the mosques said yes. And it just really proves what you should know about people who do practice Islam. Not all of them are all cute and dandy and shit. And the same thing can go for Christians. But it should tell you everything you need to know. She's Caribbean, so I'm not surprised. She talks about the Caribbeans more. She voiced her opinion about the jobs. Y'all ripped her to shreds. Can you make a video dragging Krishan? For what? I mean, there's so much. I mean, her motherhood, the crazy things. I don't want Krishan pulling up to my fucking house. Let me not even go there. I have a lot to say, but then I have a lot to say against those that are saying shit against her. It's just, anyways, these celebrities are so performative sometimes. Someone said you're biased, that's why you don't care about Christians, but it's okay. Jesus loves you and he died for you too. I understand. I said that I don't care about Christians. It's the fact that I care about the fact that people aren't talking about the fact that it's not just Christians die, it's Muslims too. And it's not even just for religious belief. It's about power and control. This is above religion. People make it seem like, oh, it's not this. This isn't like those thugs that have taken over Nigeria, the north, that are snatching little girls off of school buses and turning them into sex slaves and, trying to steal farmland and crops that grow tomatoes and corn and apples and shit like that so they can sell it and trade it for the low so they can make more money. Because, again, the politicians have done Nigeria so dirty. Like, it really sucks how a lot of African countries are dealing with illiteracy rates and poverty rates. And you have to struggle times 10 and then work triple times a billion to get by and survive in Nigeria. You know what I mean? And then and then most of them are running and hoping to get the fuck out so they can better themselves and better their life. So it really does suck how it's like, to some degree, to play devil's advocate, many of them are fed up with the politicians and are like, you know what, we're going to take control of this area. Fuck y'all. Like, we're going to take control of it. We're going to run it better. We're going to turn them into a military and we run this part of Nigeria. Why not? We want some money. We want this. We want that. But a lot of them are an offspring of ISIS, a horrible tourist group that has tormented and destroyed and raped many people and only cares about power, control, and resources and political control. And yeah, it's deeper than that. But anywho, let me see that. I saw a TikTok of a mosque helping a mom before church did. I saw that too. I don't understand the point of stating the problem without a plan to provide the resolution. I see what you're pointing out, Pablo. That's a very that's a very perceptive and straight to the point statement. What's the point of addressing it without providing a resolution? There is no resolution other than just letting fate run its course. Sometimes there's a lot of evil in the world, there's a lot of chaos in the world, right? Sometimes people do you dirty, fuck you over, are evil towards you. But sometimes there's just nothing you can do. You can't really run to get revenge. You can't do nothing. The politicians, they can't do nothing. The police, the military, they're paid off. Like, get the fuck out of our way. Here's $400 for each of you. Get the fuck out of our way. And the military are going to take that because, I mean, $400 is a lot. That'll get you real far in Nigeria for a couple months. So that's kind of what it is. You got to let faith run its course. You got to just let things run its course, and politicians aren't going to do anything. When they do try and they have attempted, they're usually outnumbered. You know what I mean? Like, they've literally turned groups, tribes, Fulani tribes, groups against the police. So there's so many of them against the 100, 200 police officers that are coming in. And they can't just spray a whole village. You know, some of those people are actually innocent, but are only there out of fear. So it's kind of like you might as well just like stay out of it. And maybe there's more that could be done. But then Nigeria kind of has we have bigger fish to fry, and there's over 200 million people in the country. So Nigeria's perspective, if they have to lose and suffer with 100,000 people, 200,000 people being dragged into these kind of things, Nigeria's willing to just be like, whatever, and keep it moving. So, Mason, what's wrong with being more informed in general? Even talking about ICE kidnapping, damn, everyone would make a big impact. Yeah, it's true. And what South American country are you in? Greetings from Chile. Oh, you're in Chile. I'm in Brazil. I'm in Brazil. I'm in Salvador, Brazil. And I've just been going around Brazil. I was in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Belo Horizonte. I love Brazil so much. It's my favorite place ever. Like, I really want to learn Portuguese just so I could fucking live here one day. I love Brazilians. They're like, everybody here is smoking hot, liquor is affordable, food is affordable, and it's just chill. It's just chill here. So what makes her off? Watch the playback. I'm sorry that you just got here, Leela, but please watch the playback. I talked about a lot of stuff. Someone said no choice. All you're saying is don't focus on the Christians. Like, do you hear yourself? I mean, we could focus and talk about the Christians, but can we talk about the other religious groups as well? Can we talk about the fact that a lot of them little girls is being kidnapped? Can we talk about the fact that this is a fight over resources? Can we talk about that as well? And again, Nicki Minaj can use her platform for whatever she wants, but the least she can do is be a little bit more informed if she's going to actually use her platforms. Nicki Minaj wasn't fully aware, and she's just being used to just garner ratings for a particular group of people that just want to use her for a political agenda. She has a big influence and a big platform. She should have did the research before she got on that platform. Nicki Minaj could have just did a Queen radio show, or she could have just simply just not say anything at all. Or if she is gonna say something, do it on a podcast. Don't choose that main stage. It's the wrong stage, and they're using you for the wrong reason. They want to take pictures with you, videos with you, and yeah, they love the fact that a big name celebrity is bringing awareness to the cause. But there's so much more layers to it that we don't address, that isn't addressed in her speech, or isn't addressed with a lot of these groups in America that are super religious and want to spread awareness about protecting Christians. Look what Americans did when they got to sit on their ass in 2020. They spent those checks so fast on dumb stuff. That is so true. Okay, let me do what I gotta do. Yeah. It is about 3:04 a.m. and all I can think is this. Let me call this damn shit. Anyways, I would have fucked with it if she said she was starting a foundation or program. Yeah, that'd be nice. Then it'd be like, okay, it makes sense why she's speaking out. It's relevant to what she got going on. Anyways, my bad. I had to call my Uber because I gotta get the fuck up out of here because my bus literally gets here in the next 20 minutes and I'm literally 22 minutes away. Let me see. Let me get this done now. I'm literally 22 minutes away from the bus station, but my bus gets here about 24 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay. So my arrival is gonna be about 3:23 a.m. and my bus gets here about my bus gets here at 3:35 a.m. Okay. My bus arrives at 3:35 a.m. I'm gonna get to the bus station at around 3:25 a.m. So yeah, I just called my Uber and all my shit is packed in the living room. I'm in an Airbnb right now. It was cute. It was a cool Airbnb. It's a simple chair Airbnb. There's no AC, so I'm using this fucking fan to cool myself off, and it's been helping. I paid about $107 for this Airbnb. And again, people hear me traveling the world. Listen, when I travel, I'm not in resorts living it up, beach view and sipping margaritas and watermelon sangrias. Like no, like I'm chilling. Okay, like this Airbnb, I'm in a normal, chill, regular working class area, and my whole Airbnb for the whole week was $107. It was $107 for 7 days. I'm a little nervous now because my Uber is taking a long ass time to request. My guess is they don't want to come this late. But basically, it says that if an Uber comes in the next 5 minutes or so, I'll get there by 3:25 a.m. and my bus arrives at 3:35. So I'm definitely gonna make it. Don't worry, y'all. I'll be there at 3:25 a.m. Right now it's 3:07 a.m. I'm good. All my stuff is packed. Someone said I would imagine those speeches being timed. They don't have all day. Okay, yeah, that is true. I mentioned how Nicki Minaj's speech was so short, but that is true. Like obviously, like she can't address all the things if she only has like a few minutes and it's timed. That makes sense. But damn, I mean, I would hate if she flew all the way out there and booked and got a hotel and everything, or they booked her just for her to talk for like 10 minutes. Only educated people should be making public speeches. I think she's somewhat educated, just yeah, not educated about that particular subject. Clickbait title, bro. It's not clickbait, Leela. You gotta watch the actual playback. You literally just got here, sweetheart. You gotta watch the playback. When you watch the playback, you'll know more. Okay, let me see. That's so sad. Hollywood has been acting strange lately. Too is Cynthia and Ariana Grande. They've been doing a lot of press because there's a part two. I didn't even know there was a part two. I still didn't even watch part one. Can y'all let me know if Wicked is worth it? I still haven't watched that shit. I just don't want to. I'm not into like fairy tale musicals and shit. They're brainwashed and controlled to off people. Let me see. I better than how it sounds. I bet it's better than how it sounds. Yes. Just a hypothesis. Okay, let's see what this person had to say about Nicki Minaj. Again, watch the playback, please, y'all, and leave a like. Leave a like. Some of y'all are in here, y'all aren't liking. Please leave a like. Thank you. And a comment if you're watching the playback. Leave a comment too. That helps. Just a hypothesis. Nicki was only allowed a specific amount of time for those speeches, and she's for said speech, and she's actually informed more than we're aware of. Okay, maybe. Plot twist if that's true. Plot twist if it's very true. But she also has Twitter, and she hasn't utilized her Twitter to talk about what's actually going on. So I did go in about what's actually going on. Someone said barbs are full force in here, child. Listen, it's no disrespect to Nicki, but again, she's not fully aware what the fuck is going on in Nigeria. So that's what the gist of it was. So for barbs that just came in here that keep blowing it up with listen, the point wasn't oh my god, she's not the queen of rap. No, it's about the fact that she is not fully educated about something that she spoke on, and people are kind of like having a discourse right now about should she have spoken out, should she have used her platform, why is she thinking Trump, what is going on, I don't support her, she should stay quiet. It's just like it's a weird discourse. So again, shout out to everyone that's actually going to watch the playback, and shout out to everyone that's actually in here right now actually listening to what I have to say. And I still can't fucking find an Uber because again, it's 3 in the morning. I don't like that. Are you still leaving the country? Yes, I am, but not permanently. I'll always keep my US passport, but America is honestly home. Like that's just where I have to be. Okay, so I literally have a degree in political science and I understand her point. You understand Nicki Minaj's point. You have a degree in political science, but I need you to elaborate what you understood. Did you? Is it okay? You understood her point in what exactly? Like her point, or you understand someone else's point? Okay, I got an Uber. My Uber is literally 6 minutes away, as you guys can see. So I got about 4 minutes to wrap this up because I gotta pack up this studio light that I'm using to film. I gotta pack up my laptop, but all my shit is packed. I'm already dressed. I'm going straight to that bus station, and I'm going to a Brazilian city called Maceió. Apparently, it's like the Caribbean of Brazil. It has like crystal clear water, and it's super super cheap. So I'm going to a city called Maceió. Someone said maybe if you voted, the situation would be better. Maybe the situation would be better if you I don't have a comeback for that. First of all, this don't have shit to do with the US. What the fuck you mean if I voted? What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with anything, Derek. If I voted. It doesn't matter if I voted or not. First of all, I have no problem with Trump. I have no problem with Biden. I don't give a fuck about none of these people. I don't fucking care. This has been happening since Obama, since before Obama. This is like real life corruption and slavery happening in Africa, a fight over resources. Like look up the name ISWAP. That's what they say in Nigeria, ISWAP. ISWAP, or ask ChatGPT about them and how dangerous they are and what they're capable of and what they would do if you actually approach them and say, Troyce, this YouTuber I watched named Troyce didn't vote. That's why you guys are here. And I bet they do some crazy shit that you don't even expect. Okay, so I gotta hurry up and get off of here. My Uber's about 5 minutes away. Let me see. Someone said, "I'll be real. What if she went service level in order to coast?" Okay, what if Nicki Minaj wanted to be safe? We don't really know what she knows. I don't like it, but we're not her. That's a good point. What if Nicki Minaj doesn't know? What if Nicki Minaj does know about? Excuse me, the human trafficking and and like the drug trafficking that's happening in Nigeria, and the fact that a lot of these extremist groups that are claiming to be Muslims, but they're really like using Muslim as a mask because a lot of them were born into Islam, right? They were born into Islam. Like they started off as Islam, but then they, got real extreme and crazy and shit. And it's all a fight over power. And they were brainwashed by leaders. They were given money, power, and guns. And they were told, okay, well, you know what? We're Muslim too. Here's some weapons. Here's some of this. Here's some of that. Here's this. Here's that. The politicians suck. So get this village in line, sniff these substances, drink this substance, and we'll give you more money and more this and more that. We just want to make sure that we get a piece of that pie because politicians keep, fucking us over. Oh my God, barbs. Nobody cares when it's Muslims. To be honest, nobody cares about Muslims as much as they care about Christians. Like, honestly, if we're going to talk about Christians, let's talk about it all. Anyway, they actually respect Muslims more than Christians, so I don't know about that. Someone said, I read tarot. Roman is real and sacred the fuck out and scared the fuck out of me. Roman scared out of you, like as in like Nicki Minaj's alter ego. That dementia-ridden orange painted bastard doesn't care about shit. I don't believe he cares about Nigeria. I don't. I think they care about Nigeria in the economic sense. Everyone relies on Nigeria's oils and metals and crystals and stones that grow in the ground. That's in our phone. That TV you're watching this on, that computer you're watching this on, that phone you're using, that PlayStation you're using. Some of those metals and materials are literally founded in Nigeria, in parts of West Africa, in parts of the Congo. I love that she spoke on it. Okay, my Uber is literally 2 minutes away, y'all. I gotta get off here. People have short attention spans. Initially, Nicki was against Trump. She spoke earlier, and she got major backlash. Then someone said, "Can Nicki even vote?" I think so. Nicki wasn't a black woman when she dogged Danny Lay from Little Mix. Yikes. That's really a lot. This is an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Oh, people leaving. I get it. You're talking about people leaving. People's ready to leave. Let me see. Oh my God. Okay. Thanks for this. Let me thank the super chat people first before I leave. Thanks for the super chat user. These groups are funded by foreign entities. Dude, pay attention to this, y'all. These groups are funded by foreign entities, though, to cause civil unrest in these regions. They'll never be self-sufficient as long as unrest exists. Exactly. They're funded by foreign entities. They lower property value too. Who knows? They might be gatekeeping certain areas. People might be scared, running off to other countries because a lot of Nigerians are leaving the country. People who grew up in those areas, the north, where that's being taken over, they're running to neighboring countries. And guess who's ready to constantly invest into Nigeria, China, Turkey, the UAE? Nigeria is really powerful. They have a lot of great resources, and a lot of people want those affordable resources. They just want to turn on Nicki. Okay, I gotta go. Yikes! My Uber's about 1 minute away, but he's taking too damn long to make that turn. I'm gonna go. Be safe, Choice. Thank you. Be bye. Bye. I'm gonna leave. Thank you so much. Someone said, "Fuck all y'all." Pray to Nicki Allah. Oh my God, you're fucking crazy. AI is messing up the economy. It is. Y'all take care. Y'all be blessed. Watch the playback, like I said, and please leave a like. Thank you so much. And leave a comment too. Please leave a comment. Help push this. Let's get this out. And somebody send this to Nicki Minaj. Okay. Can y'all leave a like and push this out? I gotta go and catch my bus. Toodles, deuces, cheers. I gotta go. Bye. Mwah.